Have you ever felt like you've hit rock bottom? Like the world has turned its back on you and every door you try to open slams shut in your face? I want to tell you a story about a young man named Leo. It's a story you might find a piece of yourself in. Leo was an artist, not the kind you see in fancy galleries, but the kind who poured his soul onto canvas in a small, dusty attic studio. He had a dream, a big one, to share his art with the world, to make people feel something, to connect. For years he painted. He sacrificed late nights with friends for late nights with his brushes. He poured every penny he earned from his part-time job into paints and canvases. His dream was his entire world. He finally got his chance. A local gallery agreed to feature his work. It was a small exhibition, but to Leo it felt like the grandest stage. He spent months preparing, creating what he believed was his masterpiece, a series of paintings that told the story of his city, its hidden joys and quiet sorrows. He hung each piece with trembling hands, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and hope. The opening night came. Leo stood in the corner, his palms sweating, watching people walk past his work. They'd glance, maybe for a second, and then move on. A polite nod here, a quick look there, but nothing more. He overheard whispers, "It's a bit dark, isn't it?" "Lacks technique," one critic mumbled to another. Each word was a tiny shard of glass, piercing his heart. By the end of the night, not a single painting had sold. The red sold dots he had dreamed of were just a fantasy. He packed up his canvases in silence, the weight of each one feeling 100 times heavier than before. Back in his attic, he slumped onto the floor, surrounded by the physical proof of his failure. The vibrant colors that once brought him so much joy now mocked him. He felt hollow, a ghost in his own life. The dream wasn't just dead, it felt like it had never been real in the first place. He put his brushes away, closed his sketchbook, and for the first time in his life, the thought of painting brought him nothing but pain. The days that followed were grey. Leo stopped painting. He took on extra shifts at his job, the mindless work a welcome distraction from the deafening silence in his head. His attic studio gathered dust. The vibrant canvases were turned to face the wall like a shamed secret. He avoided his friends' calls, not wanting to face their pity or their well-meaning but empty words of encouragement. He was adrift in a sea of disappointment, convinced he was a fraud. He believed he had nothing left to give. One rainy afternoon, while cleaning out his grandfather's old workshop, he stumbled upon a box of his grandpa's belongings. Inside, he found a collection of old, beautifully carved wooden birds. They were simple, but each one had a unique character. Beneath them was a journal. Leo opened it, and his grandfather's familiar handwriting filled the pages. He wasn't a professional artist, just a carpenter who loved to whittle in his spare time. Leo read for hours. He read about his grandfather's own struggles, about projects that had splintered and broken, about designs that just didn't work. One entry in particular caught his eye. "Broke another wing today," his grandpa had written. "The grain fought me the whole way, but that's all right. The wood tells you its story. You just have to be patient enough to listen. Every broken piece teaches you something new about the whole. Tomorrow, I'll start again. This bird wants to fly, and I just need to find the right way to help it." Those words echoed in Leo's mind. Every broken piece teaches you something new about the whole. He looked at the finished birds, so full of life, and realized they weren't born perfect. They were the result of countless attempts, countless splinters, countless broken wings. His grandfather didn't see failure. He saw a conversation with the wood, a process of learning. He didn't give up. He just listened and started again. A tiny spark flickered within Leo. He went back to his dusty attic. The air was stale, the canvases still facing the wall. He hesitated, then slowly, he turned one around. It was the centerpiece of his failed exhibition. He saw it differently now. He saw the flaws, the places where his technique was clumsy, the parts where his message was unclear, but he also saw the heart. He saw the flicker of the idea he was trying to capture. It wasn't a failure. It was a draft. It was a broken wing. He picked up a brush. It felt foreign in his hand at first, heavy and awkward. He didn't try to create a masterpiece. He just started. He painted over an old canvas, not to erase the past, but to build upon it. He played with new colors, new textures. He wasn't painting for a gallery or for critics anymore. He was painting for himself. He was painting because, like his grandfather's bird, his story wanted to be told, and he just needed to find the right way to tell it. Months turned into a year. Leo's attic was transformed. It was no longer a monument to failure, but a laboratory of discovery. Canvases, big and small, leaned against every wall, bursting with a newfound energy. His style had changed. It was bolder, more honest, more him. He painted the rawness of his disappointment, the quiet hope he found in his grandfather's journal, the simple joy of mixing colors on a palette. His art was no longer just about his city, it was about his journey. One day, the owner of a small coffee shop downtown saw one of his new pieces through a friend. She wasn't a critic or a collector. She just loved the feeling it gave her. She asked if he would hang a few paintings in her shop. There was no grand opening, no press. Just his art on a brick wall where people came to chat, to work, to live their lives. And something amazing happened. People noticed. They would stop, coffee in hand, and just look. A woman told him his painting of a rainy street reminded her of a difficult time she'd overcome. A young student said a splash of vibrant yellow in an otherwise dark canvas gave him hope. They weren't just seeing paint on a canvas, they were seeing their own stories reflected back at them. One by one, the paintings sold, not to wealthy collectors, but to ordinary people who felt a connection, who wanted to take a piece of that feeling home with them. Leo's success wasn't a sudden explosion of fame. It was a slow, steady burn. It wasn't about the money or the recognition. It was about the connection. It was about seeing a stranger's eyes light up when they looked at his work. He realized true success wasn't about avoiding failure. It was about embracing it, learning from it, and letting it shape you into who you were meant to be. It's about understanding that every setback is just a part of the story, a broken wing that teaches you how to truly fly. So if you're out there feeling lost, surrounded by your own failures, remember, Leo. Remember that it's okay to fall. It's okay to feel broken. But don't stay there. Look for the lesson in the splinter. Your story isn't over. It's just waiting for you to pick up the brush, the pen, the tool, whatever it may be, and start the next chapter. Your path is yours alone. Believe in it. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this moment with me. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that I hope will inspire and uplift you. See you next time.